Hello and welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Bethany Davidson, the Humane Educator here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. We're going to introduce you to just a handful of our adoptable pets in this episode. Our first feline guest for you today is Raven, and honestly, he is one of my favorites. This guy is super confident, very affectionate. He's just a joy to hang out with, and unfortunately, this is his second stay here with us. Back in 2021, Raven was adopted by his family from us as a kitten, but a new baby in the household with an allergy led to him making his way back here for a second time as a 3-year-old cat. He is a very large guy. That's one of the first things you'll notice about him. He weighs about 20 pounds. Right now he's being a bit of a picky eater, so he's put himself on a bit of a self-imposed diet, but that is something that we would recommend for an adopter to keep him on a diet, get him down to his ideal weight. Obviously consulting your vet, making sure you're doing that in a very safe way. But otherwise, he's in great health, and his personality is really what draws most people to him. He is incredibly affectionate and confident, comes right up and greets visitors, wants to be petted, initiates petting, wants to sit next to you if you're sitting on the floor, will kind of follow you around seeking out that attention, is done really well playing. Sometimes he can be a bit of a lazy player, but he really comes alive when you get out his favorite toy, which is those little crinkle balls. He loves to smack them and chew on them and carry them around. He's, just so many wonderful qualities. He did come from a home where he previously lived with another cat who also made her way back here to us, but is already adopted. When we tried to put them back together in the kitty cabana, there was a little bit of disagreement. So while he lived, happily with another cat, he does seem to be pretty content living on his own. So if you wanted to reintegrate him into a multi-cat household, we definitely recommend doing that nice and slow, keeping them isolated with those slow introductions at first, and really taking the time to make sure that that's a smooth transition and making sure that your home is big enough to give them space where they can be by themselves, because it sounds and seems like Raven does enjoy that ability to kind of go off by himself a little bit. He's a fantastic guy, and if you think that he's going to be a great fit for your household, you're going to want to go to visit fcac.as.me to book that appointment to meet him and start that adoption process. Our next cat is also, unfortunately, a return to shelter. This is Sawyer, and he too was adopted as, a kitten from us, and unfortunately has found his way back here again. We want people to know we are committed to the animals we adopt out for their life, and if you're unable to keep them and unable to suitably rehome them on your own, we are definitely committed to taking those guys back and helping to find them, their next chapter and their next home. Sawyer's about 6 years old now, and he is slowly coming into his own here. We noticed right away that he had some dental issues, and when your teeth hurt, it can make you a little bit cranky. And so initially he would kind of be a little apprehensive about, engaging with people, but then he would be like, oh yeah, I do really like attention, and start coming forward and initiating those petting sessions and things like that. But thankfully, because of our sister nonprofit Focus, they paid for him to have his dental. So he's had his teeth cleaned. Anything that was, painful and bothering him has been removed, and he's not going to have to worry about that. So we're hoping to see him become, more playful and more friendly, more overtly outgoing as, he continues to feel better. He has had that dental, but that doesn't mean that as he continues to age, he might, need another one. Those are things that kind of come up, but he seems very interested in being petted, does like, the attention, but does have some little grumbles here and there, but there's nothing wrong with that. He has his own unique little personality, and again, now that he's feeling better, we're hoping that we can really see him blossom and shine. And it's stressful here in the shelter, so we know that not only will he continue to kind of grow and blossom here, but once he gets into that home environment, you're really going to see those changes and that level of comfort. So we hope that we can get him into that situation soon. And because he is over the age of 5, he does get that great senior discount too. So, whether you're adopting him during a promo time or just a normal adoption time, he will go home for at least a $20 discount. And if you want to take the time to come and meet him and see if he's going to be a good fit for your family, you can start that process by going to visit fcac.as.me. It's not quite kitten season yet, so we don't have a ton of super young cats looking for forever homes, but we do have some slightly older kittens, and Timothy is one of those. He's about 8 months old, and he is one of our shy guys. Not necessarily a fraidy cat, but not necessarily super outgoing either. He kind of likes to hang out in the back of his cage. He does the slow blinking thing. He enjoys attention and affection. He's just kind of a little bit unsure of his new situation in the world right now. So a nice patient family who's going to give him that time to kind of come into his own, not force him to be out and about, but kind of let him stay in places where he feels safe, and then kind of coming to him and giving him that attention. Because while he's not necessarily coming to the front of his cage, the staff and volunteers, once they reach their hands in and start petting him, he's doing all of the rotating his head, saying yeah, pet me there, I really like that. So he definitely enjoys that. He has a curious side, a playful side, like most cats of his age, but he just needs some time to settle in. We want to make sure that people are aware of that, so that we're not setting them up for thinking they're going to have some super confident young kitten rolling through their house. He might take some time, and we do recommend that you start out any new cat in an isolated room, so just a room where you can close the door, so that it's a good transitional space for them. They get used to having a little bit more space, but not an overwhelming amount of space, especially for cats that are a little bit shyer, so that they're not trying to hide in places that might be unsafe for them, or maybe spaces where you won't be able to find them. And then, you as a new cat owner would be anxious or nervous or upset or freaking out because you can't find the cat because he's hidden himself so well. We don't really have any age restrictions or anything on him, because while he's a little bit shy, he's not super scared. He's not freaking out. He's just like any cat that would be in a new environment, just taking some time to take it all in. And if you think that you have a good home for a cat that's a little bit shyer, a place that he's going to really be able to feel comfortable and grow, then you're going to want to go to visit fcac.as.me to book an appointment to meet with him and see if he is going to be that perfect match for you. Our next guest is Star, and Star has spent most of her life kind of as an indoor-outdoor. The owner primarily said she spent a lot of time outdoor, but she seems to be settling right into the indoor cat lifestyle here at the shelter. She is quite comfortable in her, cage situation with her fluffy rugs and comfy beds. And this 3-year-old cat just wants attention. She loves to be petted. She's rolling over. She's showing you her belly. She's engaging and doing all of those, different things to initiate petting, moving closer to you. The sweetest cat that's looking forward to that next stage in her life. Unfortunately, her owner was moving and unable to take her along. And we have several cats from that area that unfortunately are, coming in for that same reason. And she is a cat that has lived with another cat before, so she is accustomed to that multi-pet lifestyle. Her owner said that she had previously lived with a small dog without any issues, that she was a bit of a lab cat, playful, friendly, calm, easy to handle. So she has a lot of really great qualities that she's also showing quite well here in the shelter, which definitely speaks to her temperament, because if you're used to having the ability to go outside, oftentimes those cats don't love that they're now confined to a smaller space, indoor space at that. So she's doing really, really well here. She's very sweet. You may notice also that she is an ear-tipped cat. That's a common thing for cats that have spent some time outside, for barn cats, things like that, to tip that left ear so that from a distance people can tell that they are animals that have already been altered, so spayed or neutered. So, that's a great thing. So it's going to be an easily identifiable mark if she were to get out. We also make sure all of those animals that are adopted from us, cats and dogs, are microchipped as well, which is going to help make sure that if she did decide that she wanted to go out on a little outdoor adventure, she's going to be able to more easily find her way back home to you. If you decide that you think your family is the one to put Star up in the indoor lap of luxury, you're going to want to go to visit fcac.as.me to begin that process. Cats haven't been hanging out at the shelter for very long, but at just about a month into her stay, Marshmallow is kind of one of our longer residents at this point, and she's definitely a standout because while most of our cats fall in the domestic short hair kind of breed mix, Marshmallow is a beautiful kind of flame point Siamese mix. She's about 3 years old, and like a lot of the cats that are kind of lingering a little bit on the shyer side. So she's finally starting to kind of come into her own and be really comfortable in her environment, being a little little bit more social, doing really well with the volunteers. Once she warms up, she does like to seek out affection and kind of be that little cuddly lap cat, but it does take her some time to trust the new people in her life. And that's how it would be if she were to go into a home as well. She needs some of that time to be able to acclimate and adjust and learn that you're her family and you're safe for her. She was brought to us because she was found as a cat kind of living outside, and somebody took her into their home for a period of time. But Marshmallow was not super excited about the existing cat in the home. The information we kind of received was that the other cat wasn't necessarily super confident, and Marshmallow was kind of chasing it, and then the cat was hiding, and the owner didn't think that that was fair to his existing cat. So he brought Marshmallow here so that we could find her a more suitable home. We haven't necessarily marked her as a cat that needs to be the only cat in the house because, it might be that she could get along with a more confident cat who wasn't going to run off. From the information we received, it wasn't that she was chasing the other cat aggressively. It was just playing, taunting a little bit, but not an overtly aggressive type of behavior. But the other cat just wasn't confident enough to say, hey, I don't really like that. Can we do something different? So we're trying not to limit her in that regard. But if you have cats that are more submissive and maybe might not handle that type of vibe with a new cat friend, then it might not be best to integrate Marshmallow into your house. But we don't want to necessarily say that she can't live with cats either. So that's something that you would have to think about and think through. But she is very sweet. She's very beautiful. And we know that she's going to, like all of the other shy cats we've discussed on the show today, really blossom in that forever family where she's out of the stress of the shelter. If you want to see if possibly Marshmallow might be the missing link to your family, the last piece of that puzzle, you can make an appointment to visit with her by going to visitfcac.as.me. The final guest we have for you on this all cat show, a kind of a rare thing for the show of late is all cats, is Ray. And Ray, like a couple of our other guests, is a return to shelter. He's about 9 months old at this point. And Ray was one of our Frady cats when he was here originally. He wasn't necessarily acclimating super well when he went to his new home, but also he was having some medical issues, some urinary issues. So he was brought back here to us so that we could kind of help him get those medical issues sorted out. And what we found is that young Ray here requires a prescription diet. So he's on a urinary diet. He's been eating that. He's been doing much better. He's been feeling better, able to go to the bathroom without any issues, without any pain. So it is important that he maintain proper veterinary care and that he stay on that prescription diet so that he doesn't have those issues in the future. But in terms of, his behavior, he's also doing incredibly well. We have a great group of dedicated volunteers who really work with our Frady cats, and Ray has gone from consistently hiding in his bed all the time to coming out into the open, watching, engaging, playing. He still kind of seeks refuge sometimes when he wants to take a nap or if he hears something that's a little bit scary or he's unsure. Goes back into his, little hiding spot, but, he's quickly coming back out. He's definitely so much braver than when he was here originally, but still would do better in a home without any really small children. Some kids that are going to understand that he's shy and not necessarily have a ton of, fast movements and things around him. Just a patient family that's going to allow him to blossom the way that he has here in their home and not really force the issue, giving him the ability to hide, coming to him because he does love to be petted and things like that. So kind of reaching into those little hiding spots is going to work wonders for him. And I have no doubt that he will be successful as someone's pet, but still looking for the right family for him. And if you think that you are that right family, obviously you're going to want to book that appointment to visit. We are in construction right now, but we are still adopting animals out. We're still having people come in and meet them. So you can book your appointment by going to our visitation site, which is visitfcac.as.me. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed meeting these amazing adoptable pets. Keep tuning in for more.